What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss how we brought home a Cane Corso puppy. Things that we did initially. Let big guy just get settled on her foot, on her leg. He's got to be touching everyone.
My leg is trapped.
It's not good enough just to be touching her. He needs to also be touching me.
Cane Corso's fart, in case you didn't know.
It's that raw diet.
Hot meat farts up in here.
You're always having hot meat farts.
Bruce Wayne farts. Yes.
Karakori farts.
No, it's not.
So bringing home a Cane Corso puppy into your life, I get a lot of questions about what steps we took when we brought him home.
Your life instantly changes the second that puppy's in your hand.
Yes.
So it is an interesting transition.
It is a massive transition.
Yeah.
And it is quite interesting. So we're just gonna go through the steps that we took, what we did through the first couple weeks of his life type of deal. Just for all the new people who are just bringing home a Cane Corso puppy to know what we did, how we brought him home, how we handled him when we were at work, I just did a video last week on something similar, so I'm not going to go into super detail on that. Check that out. Sleeping arrangements at night, all of that. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, ring my ding-a-ling so you miss any of the newest videos on Cane Corsos or Bruce Wayne. And he doesn't even wake up for that. She said I need a ring my ding-a-ling shirt.
Would you guys like that? Like a little outline of Bruce's Batman had.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. If you guys could just comment down below if you just got a Cane Corso puppy or about to get a Cane Corso puppy. I'd love to know who's watching this, who's experiencing this right now, and see the things that you're doing with your puppy or the plan of action you have in place. We got Bruce he was about 3 hours away from home where the breeder was. So what we did was we booked a hotel the night before we were going to pick him up, and we drove there after work that night, spent the night there, and then the next morning we ended up getting up early, going to hit a workout, and then picking up our puppy dog, which actually at the time didn't even have a name yet. And if you want to hear the story and how we came up with the name Bruce Wayne, check out my video, How to Teach a Cane Corso Puppy His Name. And at the end of that video, I go over the little backstory of how we named him. So after picking him up from the breeder, was a 3-hour car ride home with a puppy who's never been in the car before. So I was wondering how interesting this was going to be because he's never been in the car, and that's quite a long trip home for a puppy.
I remember asking the breeder, how many times should we stop to let him pee, to do this? And she was like, nope, you drive straight home.
Yep.
The dog will sleep.
Yep.
You need to just drive straight home.
We did make a pit stop though, because
did.
I gotta pee a lot.
Yeah, we can't make it 3 hours.
I can't make it. The puppy may be able to make it 3 hours. I can't make it 3 hours. So we stopped, and every time we stopped, I'd let him out. I would let him pee. I'd let people handle the dog. He was super cute, and right off the bat, the first rest area we stopped, I think there was a group of 7 or 8 junior high girls. Remember that?
I do.
They're like, oh my God, that puppy's so cute. If you come in the house, don't act like that around a dog because you just totally became the dog's biatch.
Right.
Because they now will not respect you.
True.
But it was great because you had all these girls surround the puppy, so it could possibly be overwhelming to the dog, which it wasn't, and I was making sure it wasn't. If it was overwhelming for him, if he was acting timid, just watch the dog's body language. I would be like, all right, guys, I got to kind of take him out now. But it was a great first experience. And he was wonderful on the way home. And every puppy's going to be different. Right. Some dogs, I've heard, get car sick. I've never experienced it before. Your dad's golden doodle gets car sick, right?
Yep.
The doodle gets car sick.
But I'm not sure because the same scenario was with our other dog where we got them actually not too far from where we got Bruce. It was like a 4-hour drive. So both of the puppies that we've owned together, their first interaction with us was driving in a vehicle for 3 to 4 hours. So that first day with us, they initially got used to being in a vehicle. So
yep.
I'm not sure if that's why.
But they both have loved being in the car.
Do great in the car.
Absolutely love being in the car.
Love car rides.
And we pre-planned this. We didn't just okay, let's go get our puppy now. We bought this hammock type thing. So the hammock basically straps to the back seats, and then there's a seat cover, and then it hammocks out to the front seats. So the dog can't fall off the seat, which would possibly break their leg, especially because they're so clumsy. So make sure if you have to be in the car with your puppy, bringing them home, if you do not have something safe like that, like a hammock or a crate to put them in, then basically make sure you're holding them. We get the puppy home that night, and we didn't want to take him out in public that day. He had enough, I just wanted to get him accustomed to the house, and the first thing we did was we fed him. This is little Panther Bruce Wayne eating his kibble. He was on kibble at the time.
17 pounds of him.
17 pounds. And then day 2, instant socialization. We went to the gym that morning, and the dog came with us. And again, we prearranged this. I talked to the person that owned the gym. I'm like, I'm getting this dog. It's a Cane Corso, and it's Italian Mastiff. They're a guardian breed. They are massive when they grow up, and they need tons of socialization. So is there any way, I promise that if he goes to the bathroom in here, I will clean it all up, but I will do my best to always be watching him so he does not go to the bathroom in here. Am I able to bring him in while we work out? And she was all for it. She said, absolutely. So that first day, he was in an environment which was loud, completely different to him. Tons of different people in there wanting to pet him. Weights clanking. And remember, not just weights clanking. When the weights hit the ground, they vibrate that floor, which could scare the crap out of the dog. Loud rap music, loud rock music, you name it. So, that was crazy good socialization. On the second day, we had him.
Right. And some people maybe would, one person cautioned us against that just due to the potential of overstimulating your puppy. So I think it just is a matter of you as owners paying attention to the dog and being attentive to what the dog's doing, how they're reacting to it. And quite honestly, Bruce basically just slept at the gym. He didn't seem scared. He didn't seem skittish. His hair wasn't sticking up.
Nope.
He seemed relaxed, comfortable.
He'd sleep on our coat.
I brought a coat and
we put it in the corner, and then we gave him like a little toy, and he literally just slept in the coat. He might walk around a little bit when obviously we were paying attention, because I don't want somebody dropping a weight on a 17-pound puppy. That would just explode him.
Oh. I don't like thinking about that.
So we were very cautious.
So just to shift gears into what we did with him at nighttime, because that's a common question for people. And this is going to change based on your puppy. It wasn't the same for us every single day. We did have a crate for him. We did do crate training with him as a puppy. We had the crate in our bedroom night 1.
Yes, we did.
One
night only.
I believe one night only. He did cry the majority of the night.
Yep.
Jason put earplugs in.
Didn't help.
Did not help. And he cried most of the night. And he wasn't crying because he necessarily had a need that we could fulfill. He was crying because he was used to sleeping with his pack of puppies.
I think it was a 13 pack litter.
It's a big litter.
It's a big litter. That's a big, healthy litter.
Yeah.
And they're all big.
So think about it. All of a sudden, your puppy's alone. It's in a new home. It's in a crate. It's by him. He doesn't have that warmth of all his other buddies. So it's totally normal. But at the same time, we didn't want to compromise our sleep. So we only did that night 1.
And then night 2 and 3 was actually in this room
we moved
where his crate was. Yep. When it was just his room at the time. It's now not his room because now he free roams through the house. He's never crated anymore. And I slept in the same room with him, again with earplugs, and didn't sleep for 2 more nights. And then after that, it was like, you're on your own, dude. Yep. You're on your own, bro.
You need to establish your own confidence.
Yep. And honestly, if I would have did it again, it would have been like that from night 1. Yeah. Every other dog I've had, it's just been like, rip the Band-Aid off fast.
Right.
Leave them alone for the night. They're going to cry probably for 2-3 nights, and then it stops. So I wish, and then he did cry a couple nights after still, probably because I was in the room with him, and now I'm not in the room. So I just wish I would have ripped off the Band-Aid right away, which is a great thing to talk about, ripping the Band-Aid off right away. Me sleeping in the same room with him is not his life. So I actually screwed that up because I was teaching him that, hey, this is your life. I'm going to be sleeping with you. I'm going to sleep in the same room with you when it's not his actual life anymore. So that's why I wish I would have just ripped the Band-Aid off quick. And she wanted to take the first week off entirely.
I thought might as well take the full week off. That way I can make sure he settles in, keep an eye on him. And Jason said no.
Absolutely not, because we're gone 10 hours a day.
And that's not going to be his normal. So
yes,
I just took like a day off, basically.
She took Monday off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Make sure everything, did you bring him to the vet?
Yes, he had to go to the vet.
She had to go to the vet, which actually, this video is not scripted, so we're just doing this by recall. So before we went to the vet, the day before, 2 days before we went to the vet, I went to the vet with the dog. Now, why I went to the vet with the dog was A, socialization, and I wanted the vet to be a a good experience for him. I didn't want it to be scary where people are poking at him and prodding at him. So I literally just brought the dog to the vet. I let everyone come out and meet the dog, and then I took him home. They gave him treats, so he's like, "This place is amazing.
This is fun."
They fed me snickety snacks.
Yeah,
So then when she brought the dog to the vet, his last memory was like, "This was amazing." And the vet, he's great at the vet, and they're always just like, "You have done such a wonderful job with this dog." We get that all the time, and actually, I get super pumped when people tell me that. Like when people are like, "You've done such an amazing job with the dog." It's like, it makes me proud. It's like, it's nice to see people recognize that it does take a ton of effort to get your dog this way.
Especially because I did bring him to his first vet visit, and they had like one other Corso who it didn't sound like they behaved very well. And so they were a little bit guarded with me. They were just very cautious, like, "Do you know?" And I get it, like they were just doing their due diligence, but I'm like, "Yes, I know all these things. We did all the research." But they were like, "Just make sure this and make sure you do that, and you know they can be like this." And they were very nervous, I feel like, for us. So then as they saw him getting older and growing up, they still to this day, 3 years old, and they're like, "Oh my God, you guys have just done such an amazing job." Couldn't every dog be like Bruce Wayne? So.
He's like a superstar, like pretty much everywhere we go.
Yeah, it's true.
In the vet.
Yeah.
Sorry, this isn't in chronological order, but let's rewind even before we got him, like months before we got him. Probably 2 months before we got him, we both started refreshing our mind on dog training, reading puppy training guides again, because I mean, yeah, I'm great with dogs, but the last time I had a puppy prior to getting him was 9 years prior. So it's not like I'm going to remember all the little nuances of having a puppy. So we did our due diligence researching puppy training, researching obedience training. And there's some courses linked down below that are great guides. There's a puppy course, and there's a canine boot camp course that teaches you how to be a wonderful canine leader. So basically, you know how to treat your dog, how to train your dog so they can become well-mannered in the house, obedient, and you create that massive bond with the dog. I've never been so bonded with a dog because of all the training that we did. Yeah, like it's insane. And you save 10% if you use code Jason. Like I said, link in the description. I appreciate all the support, you guys.
It's definitely better to get yourself educated prior to getting the puppy than having the puppy and being like, "What do I do? What now? What do we do?" Because then it's just too overwhelming.
You don't want to make mistakes with this breed.
Yeah.
Like this is a breed you don't want to make mistakes with, guys. And then it's easier to do something right the first time than trying to take away a bad habit that you as a leader created because you did something wrong. I'm not trying to bash people saying you're a bad dog person, because a lot of people just absolutely love their dog so much and they just don't know and they just do something wrong, and it just creates this horrible anxiety in the dog.
I mean, as puppies though, like that his first week of life and first few weeks of life, but as a puppy he was very routine with like a little bit of play, not over play. It was literally like 30 minutes of play and then 2 to 3 hours of napping.
Yes.
Like clockwork. Like that is kind of how he functioned. It wasn't like he needed tons of exercise. It was the little bit of play, and then this guy needed to sleep and grow, make gains, get nice and strong.
He was literally gaining 5 pounds a week. I would leave for work in the morning and I would come home and I would notice, like visually notice, I'm like, dude.
He was bigger.
You were bigger. You were longer and you were taller. Like, what happened over these 10 hours? How did you grow?
It's no joke.
And it makes sense because dogs basically sleep all day long. I had someone like all angry. How would you like it if you were crated for 10 hours? Dogs sleep most of the day, guys. They just do. And putting your puppy in a crate isn't a bad thing. It's actually a very safe thing to do.
Yes, it's a safe environment for them.
Yes. One of the things we did was we quickly crate trained him.
Yes.
Very quickly. From day one, crate trained him. And he used to love his crate.
It.
Day one, we had his crate in the living room when we were watching TV. He would crawl in there and go to sleep on his own. He loved it.
It becomes their space. That's why you'll see that most puppies won't pee in their crate. I mean, they will if they absolutely have to, but they try not to because they know that that's their space where they sleep.
Yep. Again, moving prior to picking him up, what we did was we talked to a bunch of different people saying, hey, can you help us out? We work full-time jobs.
Right.
He's going to be 8 weeks old. He can't be left in his crate all day long. He needs to be let out a couple times a day. So her sister and our brother-in-law, were good enough to come over, let him out, play with him. Somebody I used to work with, one of my friends, she would come over, she would let him out, she would play with him. There's an app called Rover that we would use. We didn't just blindly go into this. We had a plan from A to Z, and even letters that don't even exist. We had a plan for it.
We did the Nest Cam too.
Yep, I bought a Nest Cam so I could keep an eye on him when he was like in this room.
Yeah.
I actually talked about that in the which video was it? Leaving your Cane Corso home for 8+ hours a day. Check that video is like really informative of more detailed of what we did. Mm-hmm. We didn't really focus on walking him, like healing and that type of thing at first. We worked on sit quite a bit right off the bat, which he did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into potty training too much because this isn't really how to train your dog. It's just steps we took. The steps that we took, you can get all this information. There's great information on those guides in the description. He only went to the bathroom. He pooped once in the house and he peed once in the house.
That was yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he by far was not a perfect angel. I'd always be at work before her. And many of times she would be like, I only left him in the living room for like 3 minutes. I'm like, you can't, he's a puppy. you can't do that.
Yeah.
So a destroyed pair of glasses, and quite a few times the curtains would be on the ground.
The curtains he loved.
And the dog would be like, I didn't do it.
If you left any napkins or tissues out, this dog, like, to this day, he still might tear up a tissue if he sees that.
Yep, he'll take your slip.
He won't swallow it, though.
If we leave and he misses us, he will take our shoes or slippers. He will not chew them,
No.
but you will find them on his bed so he can cuddle with them like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the morning, I'd be getting ready for work and not giving him attention because I'd be getting ready for work. I'd always make sure I gave him attention, though, prior to, but I'd be getting ready for work and I'd come out and he'd be laying there with, like, my bra or a sock next to him, like, Mom, come on.
Yep.
I need you.
That's a slight fail on her part. I'm not trying to be mean.
No.
But puppies need eyes on them 24/7. You can't, it's like a baby. I've never had a baby, but I'm guessing you can't just leave them out there for, like, 30 minutes, They need eyes on them 24/7. If you can't have eyes on them 24/7, what do? You put them in the crate or you put them in a playpen. We had a little playpen too. Other things we would do is just constant socialization. We were bringing him into stores with us. Walmart, Target, Lowe's. Now, Lowe's lets you bring your dogs in there. Walmart and Target, not so much, but I just held him. I carried him around.
And we got him in spring, summertime, so it was nice out. We started taking him to parks, things like that.
Yeah, but the parks we brought him to, we wouldn't, because he didn't have all his shots yet.
Yep.
That's the other thing. We did not take the vet's advice. The vet's advice was, don't bring him in public until he's had all his shots.
Yep.
Now, the issue with that is he doesn't have all his shots until he's like 12 weeks old.
Yes.
The initial extremely important socialization period is up at 12 weeks old. You should have this guy meet an absolute minimum of 100 people by the time he's 12 weeks old.
Right.
He met closer to 500 to 1,000 people. And I'm not even exaggerating.
No, we killed it.
Like, I'm not even exaggerating.
We were getting like 20 to 30 people every day because we literally went into each and every day, even though we both worked 8 to 10 hours a day. It was, what experience can we give this dog today?
Yep.
What new people can we bring him around? What new shapes and sizes of things can we get him around handicapped people? What different noises and vehicles? Like, we were just thinking about all those things, and each and every day, we're trying to give him a different experience with different people, things, places, smells, everything.
Yep. So just know you're going to have to sacrifice things that you like to do. There's just no way around it. You can't have somebody else train your dog and then expect your dog to be bonded with you and follow your commands. You can have somebody teach you how to train your dog, but you can't ship your dog off somewhere for a month and have them come back and expect to have this perfect angel. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. You're not. Part of training is that bonding experience because it's building a communication between us and the dog.
Right.
So he understands my gestures. Like, I can, like, my little hand gestures, if I do this, do this, he'll come to me without even saying anything. Or
right.
I point and he'll sit where I point. Like, it's just time, and you got to do it yourself. And so it's going to be a lot of sacrifice. It's going to sacrifice time away from things that you like to do as a couple or with your kids, or
I was prepping for a bodybuilding competition. I was prepping for my first pro show when we got Bruce.
Yep, she's a pro bikini, guys. How did this scrub get so lucky?
So yeah, it was a lot of sacrifice when I already didn't have a lot of energy. I had to.
Yeah, because she's dieting hard. She was working out extremely hard.
But I had to make the time to put into him because I knew how important it was. So that's going to be your life. You kind of have to be willing to make that transition the second you get a puppy, because if you don't, it's unfair of you to expect your dog to be some perfect angel.
Yes, and then you're going to run into issues as they grow up because they've passed that initial socialization stage if you're not socializing them.
You have to take it seriously. It literally means everything.
It
and
does.
Training never ends either. So we're
socialization
here now.
We still got to keep socializing.
At 3 years old, we still have to do it with him because his personality is changing. He's now an adult, so he reacts to things a little bit differently the older he gets. So we constantly, the training never ends.
Yep, it just doesn't. You don't. We're not talking about a golden retriever or a golden doodle here or an English bulldog like we used to have. If you get this breed, you have a responsibility to protect the dog and protect everyone else so it doesn't hurt them. Because if it hurts them, you're probably going to have to put the dog to sleep. I think that's about it. Is that pretty much everything we did? Steps taking him home? Big guy?
Yeah, I mean, socialization was the majority of it.
Yep.
Was the bulk of it, yeah. And just figuring out, the management of him while we were at work, which we made it work.
It was
a handful. It was a lot of work, though. Puppies sound fun. Puppies are cute, but puppies are a lot of work. This stage of his life, from a year and a half on, this is the easy part.
Yes.
But literally from the day you bring them home to about a year and a half, it is a lot of work. There will be times that you want to quit, that it feels like it's not worth it, that you're not getting through to the dog, that you feel like you already taught them something and now they're not doing it. It's stressful, but...
Yep. And what have I always said, even with our prior dog, about puppies? Puppies are cute, but puppies are annoying. And puppies suck because they're a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And when we had him, what did I say all the time? Can't wait till he's an adult. Can't wait till he's an adult. Can't wait till he's an adult. Because the whole exercise restrictions on a giant breed puppy are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just want to play with him.
Right.
And I want him to be an adult, so he's full size, a full size cuddled teddy bear, and he's just much easier to manage. Please do not get a puppy that is cute, because you know what? That cuteness wears off after about 2 nights of not sleeping.
Right.
You'll be like, this puppy is not cute. This is the spawn of Satan. Check out the description box for those Corsos talking about, or check out the merch box for this Corso sweatshirt. I have a few different Corso shirts in there, and t-shirts and sweatshirts.
Nice.
Looks nice, it pops.
It's real
and that's Bruce Wayne right there.
It is.
That's Mr. Bruce Wayne. All right, guys, make sure you do all the things. Like, subscribe, ring the ding-a-lings, and we will see you next time. Peace.